It's all a bit Heath Robinson, made out of drawer slides, threaded bar. Runs on a Rip Max power supply and a transformer for the heat. Need about 30 volts. So yeah, I'm cutting at the moment at about 28.5 volts. That's my little box of tricks. Don't think they make that anymore, but yeah, I had to build that from a kit. Cool, what a nightmare. And it's all linked up to a computer. Got GMFC on there, and that's what's running it all. We'll have a look at the finished wings in a minute. I'm cutting some EPP at the moment. I want a couple of little 48-inch planks, so I think I'm missing out on all the light stuff, so I want a couple of lightweights. Alright, that's a finished wing. Leading edges always seem to go a little bit funny. Just got to sand that little lip off a bit. I'll keep experimenting. But yes, I don't know. I think it's something to do with the software. But rest of it, pretty good. Yeah, seems to cut EPP quite nice. Actually cuts it better than blue foam, I think. I haven't wasted any EPP. It's precious stuff, isn't it? Like rocking horse poo. So yeah, I've got a drag spar to go on there. And then the elevon as well, so there's no point in wasting the foam and cutting that into it. So that's perfectly lined up to stick the drag spar straight on there. Machine's on its way home at the moment. And yeah, I worked out with that little shape, a 48-inch wing, I can get about 10 from a block. As you can see, it's all pretty simple. It's all made out of MDF. Runs on standard all thread. I think 10mm all thread I think I've used on mine. I can't remember what it gives it per pitch per revolution, but it's fairly slow. Cuts, depends what sort of foam I'm cutting, but it's between 2 and 3 centimeters a minute, I think. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, so 20 or 30 millimeters a minute. I'll look from this front side. Yeah, you can see you've got to build the base up. Oh, 3.5, 4 inches from the main base. So it's like a sub base, and I've got this is like an addition. So this is like a bit of 6mm plywood screwed onto the standard MDF, and it's got a little Formica piece at the bottom. That is, I don't know, 30 or 40 millimeters. Well, let's get more exact. I'd say I've cut it at 35 millimeters. A little slot into that ply, and the Formica carries over it, so as the bow can just slip in along this slot and then drops down into the V. Top of the plywood, it's got a notch cut out of it so that the top of the bow just kind of rests on it, and I put a bit of furniture wax on there just to help it slide around a bit, but it's just supporting the weight, but it's still slightly tensioned to sit down into the bottom of that V. If I was doing it again, I'd probably make that V quite a bit steeper, I think, just to stop it moving around, because Occasionally it does start coming up out of that V, especially if I'm not cutting at the right temperature, but then I suppose that's bound to happen. The other side's just a complete mirror image. All runs on drawer slides, as I've said before, and really nothing else I can say really. I just built it to the plans and got used to it. Just got used to using it. I've got a millimetre width, a 1 metre width of cut, so I can just about cut a 1 metre panel, and it's set up so that my home position is about 2/3 of the way out, and then I cut from the trailing edge back towards the leading edge and then back to the trailing edge again, and I cut the top surface first and then the bottom surface, and but it's all configurable. You can actually start the other way around, and you can have it completely at the other end of its movement and cut. You still got to cut from the trailing edge back to the leading edge, but you can sort of start from close to the wall and come out, or you can go from out and go in, you know, so you've got all those sort of preferences when you set it up. It'll block out the foam, it'll do vertical cuts, you can cut stuff at a set angle, and you can do horizontal cuts to just block out your foam really, get it ready to cut your wings, whatever shape you want, and then you've obviously got a profile for each side, and yeah, you can have different profile for each side, and when you get really into it, you can start drawing stuff on a CAD program, import it in DXF into GMFC, and you can cut out any shape you want. Fuselages, anything, letters, whatever takes your fancy, anything you want to cut out of foam. I've not really got into that sort of stuff, I've just been using it for wings, but yeah, nice to know the options there. I think Stefani, guy that does Profili, he's got a interesting piece of software. It's a CAD program, but it does fuselages, and it's designed for hot wiring foam fuselages. So the program, what you actually draw it in the program, the fuselage in the program, and it's already cut into sections, the thickness of your foam block. So you stand your block up vertically on end. Let's give a can't find a bit of foam. Unbelievable. There you go. Yeah, so you'd have your piece of foam vertically there, and yeah, you can just cut out your fuselages sort of all 2-inch segments and then just glue them all together. And I think it's quite popular doing it that way with ducted fans and things like that, but it could work with gliders as well. One idea I had was you could do that with EPP and slide it onto a whatever your reinforcing rod going through the fuselage was. You just have a hole going up through the middle and then slide them all on, glue them all together, and you've instantly got a fuselage that needs pretty much no sanding. Yeah, lots of potential. Make one, have fun.